Howdy. Today I have a review for you of the LEGO Collectible Minifigures Dungeons & Dragons series, which has 12 total minifigures that you can collect. Let's take a look at them. Taking a look at the box, it's got the whole minifigure series on it, as well as a D20 in the top right, and overall there's just a bunch of warnings and various descriptions on it. I do like the design of it, but it is a cardboard box, and there are ups and downs to that. Obviously, it's easier to open, but also I find a lot of these packs open in stores already. Obviously, I remember when they were in plastic bags and you could go to the store and kind of feel them up and know what you were getting. Now they have QR codes at the bottom that you can scan, which I think is a lot easier, but it kind of takes away the fun from the people that hunt these. The little pamphlet on the inside shows you the 12 minifigures that you can collect. There are 5 red and 7 blue. I'm not sure exactly what that means because I haven't played D&D before. I'm assuming that means good and bad, mainly because the red ones kind of look a little bit evil. They also have the extra heads shown in a little hexagonal thing that's reminiscent of a die, and I'll get into that later. As for the back, it shows you how to build some of the small builds that come with each minifigure, nothing too special. As I mentioned earlier, they have some extra heads that go with a few of the minifigures. From what I can tell, they're mostly male and female aligned. For my collecting purposes, it doesn't really matter, but I know a lot of you out there are going to use these in your D&D campaigns and you're going to want to customize them, so that's always a plus. So for right now, I'm just going to speed up the unboxing process and then we can talk about them each individually later. So I'd say we have a really great collection of minifigures here. As far as the fantasy theme goes, I'd say they're pretty stellar. I'm pretty surprised by how much detail LEGO was willing to put into these minifigures given that they are a licensed theme. Remember that the serialized collections are the same price as of 2024, 2025, and these ones come with a specialized stand. As you can see, it's a kind of cobblestone pattern that I actually really like. Although we have seen that kind of attention given to other themes, namely Series 18 that got a different color, the Batman series has a logo printed on it, the Disney 100 series also has that, and more recently the Series 26 has some stars printed, so maybe that's not the best comparison. Nevertheless, it's still very cool to get something that not only unifies this theme, but also diversifies it from other themes. Let's go ahead and take a look at each individual minifigure, and I'll tell you my thoughts on all of them. The first minifigure is the Elf Bard, which has some pretty neat contrast between that teal and that magenta color, and the white hair and white arms also pair nicely. Next up is the Dragonborn Paladin, which has some really cool armor, and as far as I know it's exclusive to this minifigure. That dragon head is also super neat, and I love the gold color. Next up we have the Aarakocra Ranger, which frankly the printing on the face is a little iffy, but those wings in the back of the head are incredible, and the legs are also super cool. Next up we have the Mind Flayer, and he's got just an incredible head mold. It's super interesting. I like the yellow, the contrast with the eyes and the purple. Not the most intricate printing, but he's my second favorite in the series. Next up we have Tasha the Witch Queen, and I don't know anything about her character in the series, but I don't think she's anything we'd necessarily get outside of Harry Potter, so not the most interesting. Next up we have Strahd von Zarovich, who I interpret as sort of this vampire king. He looks super cool. He's got the long hair and the intricate printing on the front, something I could see people using in mocks. Next up we have the Halfling Druid, and this guy's pretty cool because he's got dual molded short legs. He's also got a nice double-sided cape and overall looks really great. Next up we have the Gith Warlock, and no offense to any of you, but I don't know anything about him, and I'd say he's probably the biggest letdown of this series. The hairpiece is the best part, and it has elf ears. Next up we have the Lady of Pain, who just sounds really scary. The headpiece is a mask made of flexible rubber, and I kinda wish it was a hard plastic, but the minifigure looks great. Next up we have Zaz Tam, who has that kind of skull-looking face print. He's got the collar and cape combo that just leaves him looking incredibly evil. He's one of my personal favorites. Next up we have the Tiefling Sorcerer, who isn't one of my favorites. I'm not sure what Tiefling means, but she looks kind of like a Marvel character. Her accessory is a red baby dragon, so that's the best part about her. Next up we have the Dwarf Barbarian, who looks to me like a fantasy blacksmith, and I like that about it. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely pretty cool. And that about wraps it up. So what do I think of this series as a whole? Well, I think that LEGO went crazy, went stupid on this. I think they really knocked it out of the park. Now, it's not really my thing to commentate on anything D&D, but I think that if you wanted to make a campaign, you could definitely use these. They seem to be very customizable, and even if you wanted to bring in some other minifigure parts, you could use them on these minifigures. I mean, there's only 2 of these minifigures that I don't like. The other ones are a 7 or higher out of 10. And if you just want to get a specific one, you can just go ahead and scan it at the store and find it pretty easily. That's all I have for you right now. If you enjoyed, like the video, let me know what you think in the comments, and subscribe, as that's always appreciated. See ya.